So good afternoon, everyone. This might be hump day, but this is business as usual. And honestly, you really need to sit tight because we have an incredible person on the show who has deep roots in the tech community, but is now doing work that all of you should know about. And in a minute, I'm going to introduce him. Just want to set the stage really quickly. Jonathan Kirsting is with us, and he's vice president of all things media and marketing for the Tech Council, and takes deep pride in telling lots of stories. So he will manage the chat. We put you on mute. This is not a time for you to sell your wares. This is our time to get immersed in our guest. And I want to thank Huntington Bank because they've been our partners right from the beginning. But I also want to remind everyone that this community is far and wide. So while we think of technology in terms of businesses that create solutions and have intellectual property, there's also a wide community that is impacted by the success of the work that we all do and you all do in terms of building the future. And this is one of those conversations that we're going to have today, because we have someone today whose name is Tim Parks. And if you don't know him, you need to know him, not just because that he was the founder and the first leader of the Pittsburgh Technology Council almost 38 years ago. He is someone who has been a champion for this region in every role that he has ever touched. And it is no surprise to me that in his work in LifeWorks, it's no surprise the transformation and the impact that he has on people's lives who have different abilities, have varying abilities. And he's going to talk about that. But we're going to set the stage, though, to bring him on. This is Timothy Parks. I call him Tim. I know Timothy is proper, and he got dressed up for us today. So we need to make sure that we give him the regalness that he deserves. But he is the person who was part of the vision of the Tech Council. But that's not really why we're here today. But I wanted to give reverence to that because I feel very proud of handing that, sort of taking on the legacy and the vision, because the work at the Tech Council actually still originates from the original bylaws, from the original vision, from the original mission. And that's to make sure that Southwestern Pennsylvania is an amazing place for technology and innovation to be built, and as a destination for that work. It has not changed. So it's pretty insane. You think about almost 4 decades, and this man guided the path. And I have the privilege of taking all that work and trying to make it relevant into today's world. So I just want to give thanks every time I'm around him. I'm really very humbled by that kind of legacy. So now we're going to bring the man on, Timothy Parks, the man. And first of all, we want to know, how are you doing? How are you doing yourself during this pandemic? And just tell us a little bit about your journey, not just what I just bragged about, but tell us a little bit about your own professional journey.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Audrey. I was going to say we could just end the show right there. You were very, very kind in your intro remarks. And it just, as I have often shared with you and others at the Tech Council, it is so gratifying to see what you have done in taking the Tech Council to that next level and doing everything you're doing with the vibrant, robust tech industry that's really driving this region's economy. So my hat is off to you. But again, thank you very much. As you mentioned, I came to the region actually working at the Carnegie Institute, but shortly thereafter had the opportunity to have this wonderful entrepreneurial experience to launch something in the early 80s called the Pittsburgh High Technology. And from there, 12 and a half years later, we had quite a run. It was great timing. We worked hard. We were very entrepreneurial in our own way, which gave us an affinity for the very businesses that we were trying to promote, the high-tech startup community. At any rate, it was my honor to pass this leadership ultimately to you. And you now have the record, I think, for leading the Tech Council for 13 years.
We're a tie. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
We're
well,
a tie.
we'll consider it a tie. But at any rate, during the interim, I then had the privilege of working on behalf of the entire region with the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance as its first CEO, which now is being, again, very, very well led by Mark Thomas. And so, I've been engaged in the economic life of the region in a number of different ways. But where I am today, in many respects, I say, well, I think I finally found my life's work. And I am playing off the name of the organization I now lead. But the reason I say that is that it has given me an opportunity to really impact individuals' lives. I was actually recruited to Life's Work Board some 25 years ago and had an opportunity to learn about its great work and its mission when it was then known as the Vocational Rehabilitation Center. Long story short, after a number of things that I did 4 years ago, I was given the opportunity to come into Life's Work, this nonprofit human services organization, and lead it in an operating way. And so I joined as CEO 4 years ago. Let me just sort of get to the bottom line. Life's Work is all about the work. It's about providing opportunities for individuals who have special challenges, special needs, who have some disabilities that present barriers to them enjoying what we all enjoy, which is the opportunity to have a meaningful job. And it may come as a surprise to some. It was a shocking statistic when I came back into the work, that individuals with disabilities are 3 times more likely not to have a job than those of us who do not have those special challenges. And yet, 70 to 75% of those individuals really want a job. They want the kind of sense of purpose that comes with the dignity of having employment. So the work of this agency, which has been about 90 years now, has been finding ways in which we can facilitate and support those individuals with disabilities of getting engaged in the economic life of our region by having a job. We do that in a number of ways. I'm almost tempted, and I'll look to our producer or our executive, of saying, could we tee up the video that I brought along? Because I think that will be able to get people really get a sense of what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So don't go away. Let's watch the overview of Life Works.
Little Earth was founded by myself and my partner, Rob Brandigy, back in 1992. We design, import, manufacture, and sell accessories, apparel, and now pet products for all the NFL teams, for Major League Baseball, about 70 colleges, and the National Hockey League. And we just got into Major League Soccer too. We really feel like we can depend on Life's Work to get the project back when we need it on time.
It was like 5,000 or 10,000 pieces, and they finished them. I gave them like 7 days. They were back here in 4 days, so it was fantastic.
I would definitely recommend Life's Works to any company where you have consistent projects where you need that flexibility in your workforce. It's actually easier to outsource those projects to Life's Works than to bring in a temporary service, train people all over again, and have it done in-house.
Doing with Life Works, piece of cake.
Pitt Surplus handles all the surplus properties that are disposed of for the University of Pittsburgh. A large part of that is e-waste recovery, which is focusing on our sustainability efforts. I was fortunate enough to go to the gala last year. That's where I was introduced to Babs, and we started a conversation. She invited me down to the warehouse. I got the tour. She came out here and did a tour, and we thought group staffing would be the best fit for Pitt Surplus. Demanufacturing these computers is a tedious and time-consuming job, and our clients do an amazing job at it. With having our clients here, it's given us more time to focus on our sustainability efforts. I think they love their job. They come in with a smile every day. The job coach is joining in on the fun. We got music playing at times. It's fun. We keep it fun. They bring a lot to the table. We're happy to have them. It's a great partnership.
Panera Bread, right? We're a bakery cafe, neighborhood bakery cafe. We want to make that impact on the community, right? Serve a nice product in a nice, clean environment.
Panera is a really great place for anybody to work, whether you're an associate or a manager. We had someone come in and ask if we hired somebody with special needs, disabilities, if we'd be willing to work with them.
Ronald works the dish in the dining room area. And it's not just washing dishes. He's out in the dining room, he's filling up the coffees. He's wiping the tables, he's taking care of the floors, he's interacting with the customers. It's not an easy job. It's an experienced job that he has taken very passionately and does it to a level that I want from every associate of mine.
I really like working with him. I know I can count on him. I know he's going to show up, works really hard, and I think it just creates overall with everybody, managers, associates, district managers, anybody. It creates just a warm and friendly relationship between everybody. So I think that everybody has something to gain from it.
Why not take advantage of a company who is going to sit somebody in front of me who wants to do the job and wants to do great work, right? We're looking at the toughest labor market in the 19 years I've been with Panera Bread. And to have those employees who want to come, they show up on time, they're hardworking, they're dedicated, and make that impact. That's the relationship that LifeWork offered, and we accepted wholeheartedly.
Tim, that was great. I think that really sets the stage for understanding the work that you do. So can you peel into some of the details, like how many people do you serve? What does it mean for people who have this term disabilities, which I don't like to use that term. I like to just say it's different abilities.
Right.
And so can you talk about that? And then someone,
Certainly.
asked a question about what do they earn in some of these?
Right. Well, we
locations?
touch in the course of a year, we'll touch as many as 1,400 or 1,500 individuals' lives. Now that's done in a variety of ways. And the video sort of captured 3 environments in which we have individuals with special needs or different abilities. With Little Earth, we bring those projects over here to our own production facility where we're doing assembly and kitting and so forth. And we do that on contract. We have many, many different contracts, some with high-tech companies like Mitsubishi Electric Power Products, like Eaton Corporation, et cetera, where we're doing on an outsourced basis projects within our own facility. So there's direct employment. You saw the example of Pitt. And there we're taking a group of our individuals, of our clients, to on-site where they can work alongside of the Pitt staff. So they're in an integrated competitive environment, but they have the support of a job coach that we send along. They're not quite ready to be placed individually, but they also don't need the supervision that we offer in our direct production facility. And finally, and many people might be familiar with this, is placement of individuals in settings like the young man at Panera. And whether it's a big box retailer or restaurant, hospitality, or any number, we would place anywhere from 100 to 150 individuals each year and continue to give them support. So the idea is to have a continuum of what I call buckets of environments in which we can match up an individual's comfort and skill base. Now they get paid in many cases right at the minimum wage. They are also being supported on an ongoing basis by the Commonwealth and other agencies that provide a baseline of support for individuals who do have a diagnosis or a set level of disability. So combine it all and they're making a good wage. And I think that's our other selling point, is that we're doing good. I mean, the self esteem that comes with the individual clients that we work is probably worth it in and of itself. But in addition, they are now able to participate in the economic life of the region because they're getting a paycheck every Friday.
So what is the criteria? What's the criteria for someone to be eligible to participate in the array of programs that you offer?
Most of the individuals you saw and that I described in the areas that we're placing individuals are coming to us on a referral basis from the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. In other words, they pass through an assessment and a qualification saying you can now be a client of Life's Work. Now we have other programs where you do not need to be referred directly by OVR. Skills training programs and other ways in which we can help individuals overcome barriers that is preventing them from being a fully engaged employee. I could mention one last area, which is the way in which we have evolved our program offerings, and that is in this terrible area of opioid use disorders. We all know that it's a scourge on our region as well as the nation. Right. We're dealing with individuals. This is not individuals that come through an OVR, but can be self-referred or referred to us by treatment centers where we're providing employment support. We're helping those individuals who have been in a recovery treatment program and are making their progress. We're helping them take that next step and find employment, which becomes a very, very critical step in their full recovery. So it's, again, applying our core competency, which is employment support, to, in this case, a needed area of support.
So do any of the people who come through and have had successful employment, do any of them ever get hired by the companies? Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. Many of them do. In fact, our individual placement, like the young man who's working at Panera, he's hired. He's their employee.
He's hired. That's great.
Yeah, we have, as I mentioned earlier, I may have glossed over it, anywhere from 100 to 150 individuals where we're working and they're ready to work within an integrated, competitive environment. They're getting jobs through the supports that we're giving them. I mean, that's kind of the golden rung of success for those individuals that are ready for it.
And so how is the organization funded?
Well, we have three primary vehicles for support. One is by virtue of the work we do for a Little Earth, for a Mitsubishi Electric Power Products, et cetera, over 300 business relationships, we earn our support because the businesses contract with us to do these kinds of kitting and special assembly projects. That's one component. The second component, and probably the largest, is what you would call fee for service. We're being reimbursed for the work that we do on an ongoing basis by entities like the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Allegheny County, who are providing us with support for providing the support that we provide to these individuals. And then the final component, like every other nonprofit, we raise money. We have events, we have our annual fund where we get individual donations, and of course, we go to the philanthropic sources of foundations. So 3 sources of funding, we put it together and try to break even every year.
Okay, and then you also just relocated. You want to just tell people about what you did, because you're very business savvy, so you actually pulled a really nice move in terms of a sale and paved the way for new innovation.
Yes, some people may have been familiar with what I call our sort of iconic flagship headquarter facilities, which was located in Uptown, directly across the street from what was once known as the Palumbo Center. But if you recall that building was 130,000 square feet, which had served as our headquarters for 50 years. We built it back in 1970, and over the years, as we grew and morphed and changed, it was our facility. But we had gotten to the point where it was a bit of an albatross around our necks, because we didn't need 130,000 square feet with the changes in technology and the way in which we did a lot of our work outside of our facility. So we looked to put that building on the market, convert a very large physical asset into something a little more liquid called money, and a reserve fund. And fortunately for us, we found a ready buyer, and that was Duquesne University. Duquesne had its own ambitious plans, which have now manifested themselves in the sense that they have purchased that site, and they will locate the new osteopathic medical school on that site. Now, for us, it meant that we could then move to a right-sized facility, which we did on the south side, and we are now here, having moved in late summer. We now have a 30,000 square foot built to our specification facility. And as I say, I think that this transformational transaction was a win, 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 win. 4 wins. It was a win for Life's Work, as I've described. It was a win for Duquesne, because it fit very, very well with their needs for the medical school. It's a win for the Uptown neighborhood, which is now becoming its own new hub of activity with the Mercy Hospital, UPMC Vision Hospital expansion, and now the medical school. And quite frankly, it's a win for the region, because it's now going to be producing new osteopathic doctors for which this region could serve very well. So that's our real estate deal. I often say, quite frankly, we got out of the real estate business. We needed to get out of the real estate business. We are in the human services business. We're in the employment support business, and that's what we now can focus our attention on.
Well, so in all the places that you showed us, what about tech companies? And I think someone might, I'm not seeing all the questions, but what about the tech companies? How can Life's Works people, the people that come through your organization, how can you partner and vice versa with the tech community?
Right. Well, we've had long-standing relationships with some of the mainstays of particularly in advanced manufacturing.
Right.
One of our biggest relationships, and one that we value very highly, is with Mitsubishi Electric Power Products. We put together and assemble special conduit for them on site here. We also, though, send small groups to work alongside their staff right there in Warrendale. We have a relationship with Eaton Corporation, electrical manufacturer, where again, we do assembly projects that they find as more. These are all projects, by the way, that are economically advantageous to our business partners. We're not looking for handouts. We're looking for work, and our clients who are doing this work pride themselves in being able to do things in a quick turnaround. We have a relationship with a Kennametal type company. It's called Drabo America, a German company that has operations in the California Technology Park down in Westmoreland County. So the way depending, obviously, we probably are not going to do a lot for software companies, but there are certain kinds of aspects of some biotech companies. We're now, as I may have mentioned, we're putting together COVID testing kits under the auspices of UPMC. We're working in a facility that they've dedicated to that in Warrendale, and our folks are going up there, working alongside their staff to put together COVID testing kits. So, there are probably very few manufacturing operations that we couldn't find a bit of a niche where we could provide some value-added service. And again, as I said, we've had long relationships with now over 300 business partners throughout the region.
Well, what do you want to say to the tech community in terms of what your asks are? I mean, you've said a couple of them clearly, There are so many people who come through your organization through referrals and the like that have an array of skills, right? So
Well,
what do you
yeah.
want to say? If in your
Well,
perfect,
what I would say is, and I think that, again, Ava DeMarco at Little Earth captured it pretty well. As I've heard, certainly going back 35 years ago with the Tech Council, as you know all too well, talent, hard working, dedicated, diligent, reliable employees is something that transcends, quite frankly, any industry vertical. And it's certainly something that's of high interest to the tech community. And what I think you'll find, what many of our partners find, is that our individuals, again, it has to match up with the needed job, but are the most reliable, diligent individuals they will find. They can be counted on. And quite frankly, we've heard this from many of the business partners that we have, from Dravo to Mitsubishi to Pitt. You saw a bit of it expressed at Pitt. Our team, our clients that come into those positions bring a joy. They are just happy to be now part of the fabric of an operation. And they don't mind getting a paycheck. They value that as highly as any one of us. So I guess what I'm saying is that, take a look at us. You never know how creative we can be in finding a match for that business. So it doesn't stop with with the nature of the business. We've worked with a lot of different companies where you might not think there could be a fit for one of
well, we've put your website out there. People know how to get in touch with you. You can look up Tim Parks on LinkedIn and you can go to the website. I know Lexi put it out there. But I think with the move of automation, that there's going to be much more opportunities. There already is a huge demand for robotics technicians, even at every stage, sort of like little chunks. Jonathan and I have even talked about getting like the basic certification in robotics technical work. And I would imagine that that will be something that will be open in the future. In terms of now, Jim Wenner has asked a question, and I don't want to lose sight of that. And Jim is the CIO at Sheets. So Jonathan, you want to grab that?
Really good to see Jim on the call today as well. So he wants to know, do your clients who are consumers and users of tech have unmet needs that the tech providers could consider as product enhancements?
Well, that's a great question. And we're looking into that increasingly as to what kinds of, I'll call them tech assist products that could be brought into either our production facility or increasingly as we begin, as everyone knows the term, pivot to virtual services, a virtual delivery of services, of coaching and so forth. So we're probably going to be open to, I'll call it user-friendly tech that some of the technology companies might be able to work with us in adapting so that we can extend our reach. You said Jim is with Sheets?
Yes, he's the chief.
So I have to do this, and Jim, forgive me, but one of the most exciting new relationships we have is with Cohen, who recently, acquired the Kogos in the area. We've got little teams that are going and providing cleaning services and inventory services for Kogos. So now I'm going to challenge Sheets. Maybe you ought to take a look at it.
Well, I can connect you with Jim Wenner's permission. I can connect the two of you. That's really
that would be wonderful. Yeah, because who would have thought, okay, we're going to start working with Kogos, but it's a very exciting new relationship. And so
that's great.
I couldn't help but bring that up when you mentioned Jim was with
No,
Sheets.
I think, yes. So Jim just said it's okay. I will, when we finish, I will connect the both of you. You will both like each other. And if there are other people who would like to stay connected and get connected to the work that Tim has done, I hope that you have found not just inspiration, but some practicality here. And I think that's what Tim brings to this. So his work has starting the Tech Council, being actively involved later on in economic development, himself getting involved in business development for a massive law firm. he, you know, and him doing community involvement, he is really the essence of what it means to be civic minded, but he also has a huge amount of practicality in terms of business. So I see IQ Inc. would also like to connect with
Hi,
you.
Barbara. I know Barbara. Van
Barbara's
Kirk,
on there.
certainly.
So everyone else, you know, please reach out. They are a 501c3. You can always give gifts to them, and any way that you can support them, either, you know, through hiring people, through contract work, through monetary gifts. He welcomes them all, and he is, you know, it's just a pleasure. First of all, it's a huge pleasure to have a conversation on this kind of topic. It matters to the entire region. It's no BS. I'm thrilled to know you and to support the work that you've done, because you have done a tremendous amount for what was called the high tech community. It's now called tech, but I guess everyone was high back then. I don't know, Tim, maybe.
Don't go there.
Yeah, we
Well,
won't go there.
Well,
It
Audrey,
might go
thank
the other
you.
direction. You never know.
Thank you so much. You've been very, very kind. But it's right, as they say, right back at you, right back to you. You're doing a wonderful job for the region as well. And it's
Thank
just been
you.
an honor. It's been an honor to be part of this. So thank you.
Yeah, you're the best. So thank you, everyone. Life's Work, what WPA.org. Go there. And so great. Thank you, Tim. I'm giving you
Thanks.
a virtual kiss
All right.
there.
Be
Thank you,
safe and be
Jonathan.
well.
Okay. Stay safe. Have a nice Thanksgiving, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey. Thanks, Jonathan, Brian,
you.
and Taylor. Bye-bye now.